Okay, so any recollection of the 10th chapter?
Yes, Prabhu, like last time, like the entire 10th chapter basically discussed about, Krishna initially discussed about and told to Arjuna about his supremacy, how he's the origin of everything. And then Krishna described about Chatushloki, the 4 important verses that we discussed last week. And then after that, again, Arjuna, after Chatushloki, Arjuna basically discussed like how he is like supreme. He accepted whatever Krishna told. And then he requested Krishna to again tell more about the glories of his opulences. So then we discussed all 9 from 19 to 42 verses last week about the different types of opulences and how Krishna explained that he's like a chief among everything that exists in this universe. Whatever is the best, whatever is the glorious, he's the best among them. So we discussed about all the different kinds of opulences.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, this 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. So Jiva Goswami explained Vibhuti are less empowered than Amsh. You find Vibhutis, Amshas, and then you find, basically Shat Eshvarya Punya Bhagavan forms like Nishingadev and Ram. Vibhuti are less, but still they are opulences of the Lord. So there's about 82, if I'm not mistaken, in the 10th chapter, which are basically extremely succinct. And then you have seen 42. What is the use of all these questions, Arjun? Lord Krishna becomes slightly annoyed. Hare Krishna, Goloka, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, welcome. Swagatam, Suswagatam. Can you hear? Hare Krishna, Goloka. Yeah, we cannot hear you, but I hope.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Yeah,
we just started actually. We are just recapping a little bit the 10th chapter. So 1042, by a single fragment of myself. What is this single fragment of Krishna's he's talking about here in 42?
1042.
He's saying,
Brahman?
Yeah, it's Paramatma basically. Like Shuddha Kasai Vishnu. I pervade and support this entire universe. What is the use? So, I could go on for ages. 82 is nothing. I could. Parasya Shakti Vivideva Shriyate Svabhagaviki Yanabalaki Racha. Parasya, unlimited. Okay, good. So now we are entering this.
Prabhu, I just, like before we get into that, you mentioned about Jiva Goswami's like Vibhutis are less than the Amshas, like Lord Ramachandra and others. So that point that struck me, like last time we're discussing with Yun Chandra Prabhu on that, like there were a couple of verses where it is mentioned that even Lord Rama has been mentioned as one of the Vibhuti, and that's what Prabhupada explains. Rama and even Vasudev, Lord Vasudev, as one of the Vibhuti. So we are discussing on that part, whether it refers to Lord Vasudev, the Krishna himself, or the father of Krishna, Vasudev. So I just thought I will just, because if it's a Vibhuti, then how it can be at the same time like Lord Vasudeva or Lord Ramachandra as a part of the Vibhutis?
First of all, it's a very good question. Regarding Ram mentioned here, let me find the verse. It's Baladev Vidyabhushan explained it's Parashuram. It's not Ramachandra. Baladev Vidyabhushan says that it's Parashuram here. And then, of course, Vasudev is further down the line, 37, of the descendant of Vishnu and Vasudev. Yeah. Yeah, there may be some exceptions, but for most of them, they are vibhutis, like suppressing lawlessness and punishment of those who seek victory and morality. We're mostly talking about opulences here, personified opulences. So definitely 37 is it's more lofty. Vasudev, Arjun, Vyas, Ushana. Yeah. Anyway, Jiv Goswami said that it's in general vibhutis are less than Avesh. Yeah. That's all I can say, Prabhu. Perhaps to look it up in what the commentary said on 1037. Let's see the Gita if I have something here. Let me look it up. Let me open with the base. With the base, yeah. 1037, let's see. Okay, 1037. 1037. Okay. 1037. No, there's not even comments on this one.
So I'm just wondering why Krishna always comparing his among the sage and Narada, among Vyas, why Krishna is always mentioning these great personalities when he's talking about opulence, about his people.
Yeah, because as I said, Jiva Goswami explained in that Bhagavatam verse, Ete Chamsakala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. It's the Emperor verse 1328. Indradi Vyakudam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Right before that verse, perhaps 1327, 26, it says that because in that third chapter, the first canto, Sutta Goswami has delineated the main incarnations, 22. We know there's as many incarnations as the waves on the oceans, but just the main ones, 22. So, and each one of them, they have particular angle, like Narad is the Bhakti avatar, If you want to, let me open my file on this because it's very interesting. It's part of the Bhagavatam, but it doesn't matter. Let me open it for you. It's BV. I hope you guys will carry on in BV, by the way. I'm about to get my recognition as an institute for BV. The GBC is coming next month. I mean, not even next month, in 2 weeks, in 1 week perhaps. So I'm going to ask that the institute be certified as a BV center. And most probably they're going to agree. And then I will push on the file to the Board of Examination, Bhaktaru Prabhu. So most probably I will be granted that. So whoever has been certified, BS, will be entitled to do the BV. So I hope you will carry on.
I think Vignesh can become like an instructor.
Yeah, sure.
Let me just become a student first of the baby.
No.
You're so qualified.
No, not really. You should, as I told you many times, you should start teaching on your side, Wherever you live in India, America, you start teaching.
Yeah.
Don't wait until, you're 82 or something. So
next life if I don't go back to God.
Okay, so let me find it here. Okay, so that's 27, 28. Yeah. See, for instance, if you take 23, 26, the Kumars, the Kumaras, and Narad also, they are Gyan Bhakti Shakti Amshavesh. Okay? Technically, that's what they are. Gyan Bhakti Shakti Amshavesh. Prithu is Kriya Shakti Amshavesh. But on the other hand, much higher than this, you'll find Matasya, Kurmadev. They are Shakshat Bhagwan, direct expansions. Then 1327, Jiva Goswami explained The Manus, the Saptarishis, demigods like Indra, Prajapatis, they are Kala. So then he explained what is Kala. Kala refers to vibhutis, not to incarnations. When less potency is manifested, it is called vibhuti. And when more potency is manifested, it's called avesh, incarnations. You know, the reference is 13.5 Bhagavatam. So this is what it is. So definitely here 1037 of the descendants of Vrishna and Vasudev. So here obviously we're talking about we're talking about, what is it called in Sanskrit? First there is Swayamrup, Krishna, then there is Etashamsha, there is Prabhav, there is Bhavav expansions. So Vrishni would be, I think it's called, let me open my other file. You're getting me into Bhagavatam now. So let me open it. Everything is there. Let me open it for you. No, this is not what it is. I've got a very nice Krishna's expansions. Yeah, exactly. This is excellent. I can send it to you. It was done by the manner, you know, the what you call them, the Gurukulis in the manners. They made one mistake though, but I will send it to you. So first you find Swayam Rup, which is Sri Krishna. And when we say Swayam Rup, we are referring to Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam, which is
two form of Krishna.
Yeah, not only the two form, it's the Vrindavan form. Jashoda, Nandan. This is the Swayam Rup.
Okay.
Okay? Then you find Swayam Prakash. Right below that, you find Swayam Prakash. That is his own manifestations. Now it divides into two, Vibhav Prakash and Prabhav Prakash. Okay? So let's get into Vibhav Prakash. It's very, very small here. Let me open further. Voila. So Vibhav Prakash, no, wait a minute. It's so small for me. So Vibhav Prakash means expansions with different moods and bodily features, such as Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is Vibhav Prakash, is the first Vibhav Prakash. Okay? So expansions, but different moods altogether, and bodily features. Lord Balaram, as you know, is whitish. And then the other side I was mentioning, Prabhav Prakash. So who are those? They are multiple forms of Krishna with the same features. Example, remember the Rasa dance?
Yeah,
The Rasa dance, huh? Remember in the Rasa dance?
Yeah,
Krishna expanded unlimitedly. They are called Prabhav Prakash. They are same features. It's just like duplicates, cut and paste, you know. And then you find also Prabhav Prakash in the palaces of Dwarka. So this Vasudev would be, like we're talking here, 1037, will be Prabhav Prakash. So definitely you're right, Vignesh, there are exceptions. They are not all vibhutis. They're mostly vibhutis in the 10th chapter, but some of them, especially 37, you know, they are Prabhav Prakash. Vasudeva is Prabhav Prakash. So if you want, I can go further down. It's up to you. It's not really the class, but let's take
We can just share the folder. We can just go through later on.
There's a mistake. There's a mistake, though. I detected a mistake. They kind of topsy-turvy something. You know, because what happened from Vibhav Prakash, you find Tedatkam Rupam. Tedatkam Rupam means basically they are expansions with different moods and bodily features. So you find the Prabhav Vilas within that. Prabhav Vilas means the first Shatu Vyuha. Okay? And then from the first Shatu Vyuha, you find the Vilas. So the Vilas means the Lord Narayan. Lord Narayan is Vilas. They are four-armed Vishnu forms in Vaikuntha. They preside over each and every Vaikuntha lok of the Paravyom, what we call the Lord Narayana. Anyway, it's quite extremely well done, except here they made a mistake. They kind of put it upside down, you know. What they did here, the mistake is they put Vilas and then Prabhav Vilas. No. First, the Mulash is called Mula Chatuvyuha, the original Chatuvyuha, coming from Lord Balaram, basically. And then the Vilas. And then from that Lord Narayan, a second Chatuvyuha. And from that second Chatuvyuha, then Lord Mahavishnu and the two other Vishnus below. Anyway, I will send it to you. It's Bhagavatam. It goes much further than Gita. Okay, so I wish you will join me in the Bhagavatam again. So let's go back to 11th chapter. Okay. So what's the link here? First of all, what's the name of this chapter?
Universal form.
Yeah. Vishvarup Darshan Yoga. Vishvarup Darshan. By the way, when Abhay Charan, Srila Prabhupada, as a young boy, he used to know this chapter by heart. You know that? Yeah. That was the chapter as a boy he used to recite. Srila Prabhupada mentions that. So what's the... Yes, go ahead.
Why 11 chapter, Prabhupada?
You should ask him.
No, there's a purpose, you know, but that's why I'm asking you.
I guess, I don't know. I just read it. But it's very interesting. Why not other chapters? Oftentimes he used to say the 9th chapter is the most important. Perhaps at school, someone told one of his teachers, or perhaps his father, or something, you know.
Actually, the chapter is very cool, very famous among Indians. Actually, Virat Roop and universal thing.
Yeah. So I guess
people are very fascinated by all those larger than life conceptions.
Yeah, actually, it's a very good point, Vignesh. Thank you. I guess it's a part of the tradition in India because, you know, you're talking about the Vishvarup, so extremely godly and
powerful, and that's really God, you know.
For us, you know, we're going to discuss it's way below. But for, I guess, an outsider, it's very impressive, extremely glorious and frightening and awesome, you know. Okay, so what's the connection with the 10th chapter? It's quite obvious.
I couldn't figure out.
Well, just go to the previous verse. You know. See, look at the previous verse. What is the need? Krishna is slightly annoyed. With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So now Arjuna wants to see what he has heard about. As simple as that. I've heard a lot of philosophy, and I want to see for myself. And of course, that was one of the questions of your homework. Why is he trying to establish? What is he trying to do in trying to have us see this form? What is his intent behind? Why Arjuna is so keen that this Vishvarup be revealed in the Bhagavad Gita? That was one of my questions, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, what's the need of to behold the Vishvarup? After all, it's an imaginary form. Any clue? I mean, it's quite developed by Srila Prabhupada in all the purports coming up. Huh? Did you write it? Did you write it, Vignesh? In your answer, I'm trying to say.
Prabhu, the first question that Arjuna asked, in the start of the 11th chapter, you had given one question, in 10.2, that Arjuna says, "I heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity. So
Yeah.
I think Arjuna is connecting back to that 8.18 verse, 8.18-19, where Krishna talks about how everything at the start of the Brahma's day comes from me, and at the end of Brahma's night again
Okay. Yeah.
comes back to me. So does Krishna want to, like Arjuna maybe want to see exactly how it happens. Like even in the
Exactly.
universal form, we see that how
Yeah.
everything comes and goes into him and like that.
Yeah. He wants to see what he has heard about, basically. But my question remains: why is he so keen to have us see that form? At least philosophically, we can see the form here. Because what is he trying to establish?
His supremacy.
Yes, he's trying to establish as a criterion that if anyone claims to be God, then he has to exhibit, to display his Vishvarup. He's putting, he's creating a criteria. And it's important.
How everything come from him also as the source of everything.
Yes. So he wants to prove to the world that, yes, I'm speaking, this is God. Don't you realize by now it's God? So anyone further down the line who's claiming to be God, especially in Kali Yuga, it's a common affair, then you please display your Vishvarup, my dear sir. So Krishna is Lord Arjuna is establishing the criteria. This is the criteria. Part of being God is being able to produce this form, which is a very important point. And you should bear in mind, especially for your exam, these things, and for your own knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear number one. 11.1.
Okay. Arjuna said, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, which have so kindly delivered to me, and my illusion is now dispelled.
Yeah. So Vishwanath explained here from 1 to 3. Arjuna praises what the Lord has just spoken, basically, because we just finished the 10th chapter. He was Vibhuti Yogi. He was broadcasting his direct and indirect glories. So definitely Arjun's by now illusion has been dispelled. And of course, you may say it's a lila. Yes, it's Yogamaya. Yes. Arjun no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, because of course he is, this is the prerogative of a Vishnu Parikar. They are so close to the Lord that they tend to forget his God. This is even more so in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, they may have a slight glimpse. At times it happens with Mother Yashoda, you have seen. And she is seeing the universe in the mouth of Lord Krishna. So there's a little, not only a little, there's a big wave of Aishvarya coming up here. But right after that, the Madhurya Prem of Yashoda Mata is so powerful, it engulfs this little tinge of Aishvarya. That Aishvarya is gone with the wind, with the Madhurya Prem.
Is that Vatsalya or Madhurya? Or Yasoda?
No, Yashoda is Madhurya, but when she sees this universe in the mouth of Lord, of a baby Krishna, this is Aishvarya. You understand? She's enamored. She's totally bewildered by this glimpse. Wow, how can it be? My boy has the universe in his mouth, and I can see myself even in the mouth. So that is definitely an aspect of Aishvarya Gyan, Aishvarya Bhav. But she has so much Madhurya Prem, she has so much Vatsalya Prem, I would say, that it overthrows, it overflows, it supersedes this Aishvarya Bhav she just saw in the mouth, because her love is so powerful. Immediately, And by the way, Manda Maharaj will be around, and she faints basically, and he's catching her in his arms, and he's going to say, he's going to tell everyone not to remember. We have been told by Gargamuni, this boy is none different from Narayan. But next second again, Yashoda comes back to her senses, and immediately, no, he's my boy. Let me protect him. Finish. She's totally. The Vatsalya Prem is so powerful that it supersedes by far the Ishvarya. You follow? So here, of course, Arjun is not on that level, true, but still is on the level of, is on the level of Mathura, there's a hierarchy. We have seen in Upadeshamrit, there's a hierarchy in the spiritual world. It's not Vrindavan as yet, okay, but it's very high. It's Mathura here. So Arjun is in the same way, is somewhat into Yogamaya. This, my friend, I'm eating with, I married his sister. Sometimes we share the same bed. He has kind of forgotten that he's God. But now in this particular chapter, he's going to be, reminded. And he's doing so for the sake of us, to edify humanity. So Arjun, for the sake of the story, for the sake of the narrative, is no longer, it's no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere friend or, no, he has Aham Sadasya Prabhavo. Yes, he's the source of all incarnations, etc. Like that, And here he's going to request to show, and to establish the divinity for all of us. Because he wants to ascertain, this is coming from his bhav actually. He knows Krishna is God, but he knows others may not know and may not agree. So he's trying to establish once and for all, yes, this personality is the supreme. And by the way, there was a question in the homework. I think what is it? Talking about, for your benefit. Is it here, Vignesh? It says, it's in 11.1. See, Prabhupada says, Krishna is speaking to him just for his benefit. So I had a question, and I think Vignesh, as usual, answered very correctly. Where did we come across this point? That Krishna, oftentimes in the Gita, he mentions, yes, I'm speaking for your benefit, Arjuna.
Is it?
You mentioned 10.1, very good, Vignesh. 1864, yes. 9.1, very good. Well, 9.1, not literally speaking, but the meaning is there, definitely.
I put 9.1.
What does it say, line 1? Anusuyave, I know there's a word Anusuyave. I'm non-envious. Because you're non-envious, I'm going to reveal it to you. Let's see. Yeah, definitely. It goes in that direction anyway.
It is very close.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I agree.
Is the 1864 11 what?
10.1. 10.1.
Yeah.
10.1. Then 1864. Hitam. Tato vakshyamite hitam. I'm speaking for your benefit. Meaning not only Arjun's, but everyone's. Number 2.
Yeah. O Lotus-eyed one, I heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and I realized your inexhaustible glories.
Yeah. So here, very interesting, there's a beautiful name of Lord Krishna, which is rarely heard. Kamal Patraksha. There's one devotee, I don't know if you know him, his name is Purushottam Prabhu. He has written long back, perhaps 20, 30 years ago. It was yellow cover, I remember. All the names of Krishna in the Gita and all the names of Arjuna. And it's very interesting. He's defining very deeply each and every name. So, Kamal Patraksha, what's the meaning? All lotus-eyed one. So it's very interesting, like, you call someone, sometimes you may differ. Like my wife, I have nickname for her, I hardly call her a name, actually. So when you know someone very, very well, you don't necessarily call, her name is Anuradha Gopika. When do I call her like this? I mean, once in a blue moon. So when you know someone very well, you have all the names. You follow? And that reveals a lot of the, if you know the person very well, like let's say a third party is hearing how I call my wife, he's going to be bewildered. Why is he calling her like that? Because he doesn't know. He's not into the Baal. So he will be even puzzled. So the name revealing is extremely intimate, actually. So Arjun is obviously on that level. He can call him Yogeshwar, he can call him Madhav, Achyut, Achintya. It's not like at random I'm calling. He wants to emphasize something here. Kamala Patraksha. Remember, it's a 45 minutes conversation. It's happening on the verge of. Is it on the verge of the battle, or on the day of the battle, Vignesh? Because I read two things. Huh?
On the day of battle, right?
Yeah, I read two things. This Ganguly in the 19th century, he has mentioned, he has written, he has commented on Mahabharata. He says it's on the verge, on the eve, because I don't know how far it's true though, because Prabhupada is not specific on that. This Ganguly says that on the eve, they were practicing. It's called rehearsal, and that's his own volition. He says that happened at that time. But again, I can only quote him because I never saw anywhere Prabhupada saying that. So I'd like to find some quote of Prabhupada on this. Was it spoken right before? It seems to me that Prabhupada seems to indicate. Huh? What is your understanding, Vignesh?
I had to research a bit on this because the way the Gita starts, like Arjuna first of all enters and want to see the two sides of the battlefield.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as if the war has started. It's like
definitely it's not started. We know that.
We can see the flow of the Mahabharata itself.
If you can,
what are the things that happen?
If you have the time, I'd like to. You can make, because I don't have you have the Mahabharata in Sanskrit most probably. I just have the one of Rida Yananda Maharaj. That would be interesting to know. Was it like Ganguly said on the day before, which was a rehearsal day, or right before it happens? And he was a Kedeshi. I read that also.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's move on. So basically in 11.2, he wants to know further, in spite of his being the source of all appearance and disappearance, he wants to know further, because it's just a bit like 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, the Yogameshvaram feature. Because so far he has seen, yes, Lord Krishna is very aloof. He's there, he's not there, Tatramidam Sarvam, Jagadavetamurtina, Mastani Savabhutani, Nachahamte Javashtitaha. But now I want to see for myself. He heard it all, he heard it all. He heard about the creation, the destruction of all the Jeeves, 7.6, remember, middle 6 chapters. He has heard of Aishvarya Gyan, Mahatmyam, Avyayam, 9.4 up to 9.9 basically. So now he wants to get down to business. He wants to see for himself. There's one saint in the Bible, Saint Thomas. Saint Thomas, he would not believe unless he sees. You remember this Remember Goloka, you know the Bible? When after Easter, they opened the tomb of Christ and he was gone with the wind. And then there was one apostle. What is his name? Go ahead. Judah. Very good. He met the Lord Jesus Christ, can you imagine, down the street with his other, after his resurrection. And he said, I don't believe. And can you show me? And Lord Christ is so, he had holes in his wrist. And Judah felt so bad. I think he hung himself, isn't it? He hung himself due to shame. He had dared to question the Christ,
because he betrayed Jesus.
Yeah, he betrayed also, and he would not believe unless he sees. Some people. So we say it's a common saying, "Oh, I'm like Saint Thomas." Saint Thomas was the same also. Unless he sees, he would not believe. So Arjun is a bit like that now. He wants to, but again, he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for the rest of the world. He wants to ascertain this person is God. Full stop. 11:3. you know, 11:3.
Okay. Should you read now?
Yeah, sure.
O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours.
Yeah. So again, two names come out here, Parameshwar, Purushottam. See, of course, there's two types of names of Lord Krishna. There's primary names and there's secondary names. It's mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. You know the difference, Goloka?
Yeah. The primary name is just addressed like Nanda Nandana, Yasuda Nandana.
Yeah. Having to do with is Lila. Having to do with is Lila. And here we're talking about secondary names, having to do with his functions, his powers. They're not as powerful, like Janardhan, Purushottam, Parameshwar. But as soon as you say Bhaktavatsal, then that's primary. Bhaktavatsal is primary. Krishna is primary. Ram. Like Jananivas, there's one devotee in Mayapur, Jananivas.
That's primary?
Sorry?
It's not primary.
No, it's secondary.
Secondary, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see there's different levels of names. Very interesting, actually. So, yeah. So again, it goes without saying that Arjuna wants to see, but for the sake of convincing others. He doesn't have, it's very clear. It's just like Yashoda to a lesser extent, of course, but he doesn't have any personal interest, personal desire for confirmation, to confirm for his own sake. No. And it's a fact. Arjuna is Trikalagya. So he knew that Kali Yuga is around the corner. And there's going to be so many imposters. You have seen in India itself, Sai Baba and whatnot, So now it's very clear. It's very clear, starting from 3 even, he's requesting, yes, I want to see. Ekam Shenasti to Jagat, 1042, Evam Etat. Evam Etat. I want to see this. I want to see it. So he basically is establishing, he wants to establish a criterion here. We discussed, I think, way back in 1016, I think it is. Arjun, yes, remember? 1016. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. So this is the time, 1016, where Arjun is asking for vibhutis, and Krishna is going to give about 82. But now he wants to see for himself. 1042, just a single fragment of myself, I pervade. He wants to see this all-pervading feature of unlimited opulence, basically. 4.
If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self.
Yeah. So let's see about the homework. I'm trying not to forget any questions here. Where are the questions? Let's see. So the first one is 1033. It's further down the line, way down the line. Benefit we discuss. Yeah, this one is a bit further down. Let's go further. So number 4. What do you want to say on this one, Vignesh?
Krishna just like Arjuna is asking to show the universal form if he's capable to see that with his current eyes.
Yeah, so again, it's very interesting. Just by the selection of the name of Krishna that Arjuna is using, Yogeshwar, its secondary name again, is definitely pushing Krishna by using all these different names, Parameshwar, Purushottam, Yogeshwar, is referring to the powers. So he's kind of poking him, please. I want to see, like a child. I want to see. So, of course, we may say, well, every jiv is only a spiritual spark. So, is it possible for a jiv to see or to understand the Supreme Lord? Nayamatma pravachanina labyo nabedaya nabahuna shrutena. Unless he reveals himself, there's no way. So Arjuna is not depending on his speculative power here. He admits his frailties, his limitations, and he's kind of acknowledging Krishna's inestimable position. Just like, remember we discussed 9.4, 9.6, Aishvarya Gyan. Aishvarya Gyan will breed Dasya Bhakti. So Buddhajan used to tell us this point all the time. It was going to breed Dasya Bhakti in us. And Dasya Bhakti is very important because at any level of ras, you find Dasya Bhakti. Even Srimati Radharani herself is Dasi. She's Madhurya, she's Radhuna Shakti, personified Ladini Shakti, but she's in the mood of Dasi. And Krishna is in the mood of Das, practically, with her, So here, there's a shift, I would say, in the mood of Arjuna. I remember way back, there was a paradigm in the mood. Remember, long back, I think it was 121, he ordered the Lord, Achut, Senayo Ubayo Madye, remember? Please conduct my chariot between the two armies. So he's kind of ordering. There's a particular mood there. But here's totally different. Totally different. He's pleading. It's no more ordering here. So he's pleading, sorry. He's surrendering, he's pleading. See, he's extremely humble. If you think that I'm able to see, he's not saying, please show me, just like he did in 121. Please bring the chariot between the two armies. 5. (11.5).
Okay. The Blessed Lord said, "My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold, now my opulences, hundreds and thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea."
Yeah. Pashyame. Pashya means to see. Pashya. See. That's it. Is is revealing it now. We are very early in the chapter. Is revealing it. So let's discuss. That's very interesting because it's a bewildering topic here. Because oftentimes devotees, I've heard, they tend to decry that form. Oh, it's imaginary form. It's as if to say it's a bit useless. So we have to ascertain. Excuse me, let's see. So we have to ascertain, philosophically speaking, the nature of this form. It's because I've heard many devotees, they are bewildered by this form. What is it? Is it material? Is it spiritual? It's of course Bhagavatam will reveal much more, as usual. Second chapter and mostly second chapter, it will reveal a lot. So let's see the question here. If I have anything on this. What is the need to behold the Vishvarup? After all, it's an imaginary form. Okay, now it's your turn, you two. You can please share. How do you understand this form? What is it? What is the use? What is the purpose of it?
To behold.
So go ahead, Goloka.
I saw when though it is an imaginary form, still is one of the appearance of Krishna.
Yes.
And then tells the Virat robe is not revealed to everyone but only Arjuna.
Yeah. So you're saying it's temporary, but transcendental, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Vignesh.
Yes, Prabhu, I agree. This is a transcendental form of the Lord itself, because Krishna later after the end, 11.47 tells that this Atma Yoga. It is by my internal potency.
Excellent.
So it is not the external potency of the Lord. It is transcendental form of the Lord.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, we should not belittle that form. Remember, whatever comes from Krishna is divine. Just like Devi Isha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durachaya. We're saying, oh, it's Devidam, it's it's Devidam, it's lowly. Krishna says, no, Devi Isha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durachaya. So how can something of a low order come from Krishna? No. Everything is divine. Krishna is the Shaktiman, the supreme pure. Oma Pavitra Pavitrova. So there's no way it can be contaminated. It can be of a low order. But what is the purpose again?
Set a criteria for the people in general, that this is how God should be. Like if someone is posing himself as a God, then he should also have the ability to show the Vishvarup form.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we have seen, even still today, we may be bedazzled by the beauty of, I don't know, you go to Switzerland or even America, you have seen in the Rockies, it's extremely, it's awestruck, it's extremely beautiful. I've been to Gangotri, like you see the Ganga gushing out from the glacier in Gomukh. It's mind-boggling. So this is the display of Lord Krishna's material energy. And some people will stop there. So we have to give them some space, give them some room to grow, So let them glorify this aspect. They will get purified to some extent.
But Krishna actually, he talked in Bhagavad Gita. He has a universal form, but he didn't display his universal form to nobody else except to Arjuna. I say he displayed it to Duryodhana also.
Yeah, a small one.
Okay.
But via the medium of Arjuna, others benefited. Just like those the demigods who were posted in their particular locations in the Brahmanda, they also took advantage and they beheld the form because of Arjun. Arjun was the one who triggered the form. He requested Krishna, and through others benefited and saw it because of Arjun's request was fulfilled. So, yes, let's. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Well, before I move on, I just want to ascertain this point. I mean, what do you call it? To ascertain the point and, like you said, hammer the point. Yes, that's the one. Hammer the point home that it's temporary yet transcendental. 1147 is a very good quote. It's a bit like, avyakta and vyakta. Prakriti, material nature, is either vyakta, manifested, or avyakta, non-manifested. Like prakot, aprakot, same. Manifested, non-manifested. It's like that. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that this first form that was revealed was actually the one which is described in Purusha Shukta. It's Mahavishnu. That form that is so first. We're going to see there's going to be different displays throughout the 11th chapter. So that very first one is glorified in Purusha Shukta. You hear in Mayapur, the boys are singing all the time. So this is Mahavishnu. Hundreds, it says hundreds of Sahasra, Nanavidani, Divyani. This is hundreds and hundreds of Svarups. They are called the Vibhutis here, actually. They are Vibhutis. 6, so again, 6 is the same story. O best of the Bharats, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwin Kumar, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. So we are talking about hundreds and hundreds of Svarups. Basically, they are the Vibhutis of the Lord here. Then 7.
O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to see if the questions is if I have some homework on this. There was a question in 3. The Lord said that because he entered into the material universes by his personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. Yeah, that was a tricky question. We forgot to bring it up. In 3, you can see the first sentence is a bit tricky to understand. The Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. It's a bit tricky question because when you look at 9.4, Mayatatami Savam Jagarvakta Murtina Matstani Sava Bhutani Natchaham Tejavashtitaha. It says very clearly there, 9.4, by my Avyakta Murtina, by my unmanifested Murti, right? Murtina, I pervade and I support everyone. So what does it say here in 11.3? The Lord said that, Prabhupada is saying, the Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation. So what does Vignesh say here? Prabhupada used the word is the key, President Bhagavad. Yeah, very good, very, very well answered. Yes, very good, very well answered. Yeah, you want to share your, let's hear from Goloka before you share. How would you tackle that, Goloka? This is a subtle point. You know what I'm saying? Yes, go ahead.
I just said one cannot perceive Krishna the Supreme Lord cannot be perceived by everyone who have material senses. Krishna revealed himself only to those who are not envious, and who is devotees. Also, one should. Is that the question?
Well, there's a dichotomy. Okay, let me try to locate it properly. 11.3, look at the first sentence of the purport, 11.3. The Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal presentation, the
Oh,
cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going on. So my question is, Prabhupada is stressing here, by his personal presentation. I was under the impression, 9.4, that he enters by means of his Avyaktamurtina. It says in 9.4. So how to reconcile this apparent contradiction? In 9.4, by me, listen to 9.4, by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So it seems like 9.4 is saying, by my unmanifested form, Krishna is saying, Avyaktamurtina. And then Prabhupada is saying 11.3, the Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation. So is it Avyakta or is it Vyakta? That's the question. See, sometimes you have to, this is part of theology, and you have to be able to undo apparent contradictions. But Vignesh hit the nail properly, I have to admit.
okay.
So if Goloka, you cannot come up with an answer.
Yeah, I just say one can see the Supreme Krishna only within himself and outside himself. Krishna remain in an unmanifest form to those who are not.
Yeah, it's a good answer. Everything comes down from personal, first of all. So let's hear from Vignesh. Go ahead on this one.
Like Prabhu, I mentioned on the point of the three aspects of the one absolute truth, like Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan.
Yeah.
They're like Advait Tattva. So first of all, when we talk about the creation, we normally talk about how Vishnu enters and pervades everything. So Vishnu enters through the Purusha Roop, like talk about Garbhodakshai Vishnu and all three forms of Vishnu.
Yes.
So first Vishnu enters. This is the personal representation of Lord Krishna. And then as Vishnu enters and then he pervades. That is like Brahman aspect. That is like a non-different energy of the energetic Lord.
Yeah.
In that sense, both can be true. It could be Brahman aspect, Avyakta Murtina, at the same time, Vishnu entering as a Purusha Rupa.
Yeah. This is very good. Huh? The answer is, this is the answer, Goloka.
Okay,
so he's quoting basically 10 or 11.
Three aspect of the Lord, like one is a manifest, one is manifest.
Yeah. So remember, is Advaya Gyan. We should not be thinking, well, there's Brahman in one side, there's Paramatma, no. It's Advaya Gyan. Advaya Gyan means homogeneous. It cannot be segmented. It cannot be broken. It's one Gyan, Advaya. But from the perspective of the student, some will apprehend the absolute truth from the perspective of Brahmavadis. Then Paramatmavadis, those are very eager to locate the Lord in everyone's heart. They want to see, 628. And others, devotees, bhaktas, they are after what is inside the sun globe, what is inside, what is behind the Paramatma. Hiranyanmala Patrena Satyasya Pitum Mukam, Shri 15. I want to see, please remove that glaring effulgence. I want to see behind. That's the background. But all in all, it's Advaya Gyan, it's one. It's one philosophy. It's one Lord, and is Shakti Matayo, Abedda. Vedanta Sutra. There's no difference between Shakti and Shaktimam. Yet there is difference. But there's no difference also. Okay, so this is the answer. Sometimes you will find like this. You have to be able to reconcile apparent contradictions. It's part of the studies of books, of Prabhupada books. And of course, Vignesh went into heavy stuff, heavy grammar.
He went
So
very,
he's
very,
like, he's
yeah, he
going,
went out of the box.
he's way, way out of the box. He's going into the tattoos and stuff. And the gra-
The
I mean, which is
brain
good.
goes like that. He's
The more thorough, the better.
broad, very broad.
Yeah, no, he's
Very
going
nice.
out of the box, big time.
Yeah, I've never think about this, the free aspect for
Yeah,
this question.
but this is, yeah, this
So
is
sometimes I go out of the context as well.
no, but as long as you bring it, you may go around the big loop.
You make the point.
Yeah, you may go on the big loop, but as long as it's a finer circle, a complete circle, you go back to the root cause. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, 7.
Okay, 7.
It's
Whatever
eight.
whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. This universal form. Sorry, I just missed my page. Okay. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here completely.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. The Sanskrit, as usual, is extremely revealing. As far as possible, always start off your study from the Sanskrit. It will help you because Sanskrit is very concise, and you will build up your Sanskrit vocabulary this way. Especially Gita, it's not a heavy Sanskrit. Eka stham Jagat Krishna. This is the key verse. This is the key sentence. Eka stham Jagat Krishna. In one place. It's not all over the place. That's extremely mystical. Gudakesh, he calls him Gudakesh. Arjuna is what you call it, Anaga. Anaga means no aga, no pap. Agasur means pap. Anaga. Someone who has vanquished sleep is Gudakesh. So Arjuna is way beyond human range. Arjuna used to shoot arrows in the dark. Remember, he can shoot the target in the dark. What to speak in broad daylight. So he is fit to receive. And Ekastam Jagat Krishnam. So that's quite mystical. How can everything, past, present, future, be located in one place? Not only the 3 phases of time, the whole Brahman.
I was just thinking about normally we access only 3 dimensions of the universe. Like even when we see a simple water bottle, we cannot see other side at the same time.
Exactly.
We have to just move on there and then again see from that side.
Exactly.
So it's like Arjuna has been given a divine vision to access multiple dimensions of the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we cannot do.
Just like the sun, if you go to China, it's dark. Because remember, people don't even know, in the 5th canto it's mentioned, there's the Sumeru mountain. And the child of the sun is circling around the Sumeru mountain. So in China, I guess it's night now. So the sun is on the other side of the Sumeru. We are on one side of the Sumeru. Tonight, Sinai will be in broad daylight, and I'll be in dark. France will be in dark. So the sun is moving around. But how can you see both sides at the same time of the Sumeru? I mean, how can you see both sides of the Sumeru? So this is what's happening here. Ekastam Jagat Krishnam. This is extremely mystical. Extremely mystical. If you wander within the Brahman for millions of years, I mean, the Brahman is huge. It's you may say, well, ours is the smallest. Yes, true. It's about 4 billion miles diameter, which is the smallest. And this is situated in just one part of my body, Krishna says. So, in other words, remember, that's going to help Arjuna, because he's going to see for himself that he's going to see the victory and the defeat. He's going to see that everyone has died already. Even though the battle hasn't started, he's going to see for himself, why should I refrain anymore? Everyone is already dead practically. So Pashya, it comes a lot in this section. Pashya means to see 4 times at least, I counted. Pashyame 5, Pashya 6. It comes a lot. Pashya 8, Pashyame, Yogameshwaram. So he's emphasizing, he wants him to fight. He's emphasizing that Arjuna should see that Virat. There was not shown before. 8.
But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence.
Yes. So that's the oftentimes Bhakti Shastri question, exam question. It's very common question, but it's interesting. What's the need of Arjuna to get divine eyes? He's a pure devotee. He's a Vishnu Parikar. Does he need even higher eyes than this? Is Pramanjana Churita Bhaktivirochanina. He has already love in his eyes. With the ointment of love in his eyes, he can behold the Lord day and night. Arjuna is always in the Bomalila, just like his mother, day and night. Always revolving into pastimes of love, like a drama, like actors on stage. This is amazing. Like one lila finishes, immediately the same lila will start somewhere else. Can you imagine? How can you keep count of this? The Gita, like the Battle of Kurukshetra, will finish. Up, it's starting off somewhere else. So Prabhupada explained in one letter to Kaushalya in 68. And she's asking a very good question, this lady. What about Arjuna and Kunti? How can they manage to revolve around universes after universes? Prabhupada replied to her, and he says, yes, Arjuna can duplicate himself unlimitedly. This is the level of Arjuna and Kunti also. They never go back to Golok. They're always in Bomalila, always Bomalila, 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 Bomalila.
Even Mother Yasoda also?
No, in that letter, I don't want to speculate. In that letter, Prabhupada mentions Arjuna and Kunti. I can show you this letter. It's quite an extremely revealing letter.
Yeah, no, I think I read it somewhere.
He replies to one, Kaushalya Mataji, her name is 68, way back. So again, the question remains, why Arjuna needs special eyes? Is he not a pure devotee as yet? That's a very pertinent question. Many people will ask you this thing. How would you tackle that? I think it was one of the homework questions, wasn't it? Let me see. Yeah. That's one of the key questions of this chapter. And I notice devotees tend to be a little dodgy on this one. Well, it is that, blah, blah, blah. They're not very clear. How would you tackle that?
I'll let Vignesh go first.
If Vignesh go first, there's no food left for you.
Then if I come even near it.
He's gonna eat the whole cake. It's up to you, but you ladies first.
That's true.
He's gonna eat the whole cake.
I guess according to the purport, they say that and this a devotee may see the universal form by Krishna's grace, not with the mind, but with spiritual eyes. I think this form of Krishna is a very overwhelming form even for Arjuna.
Yes.
So Krishna has to give him transcendental eyes so that he will be able to withhold this this form of his
Yeah, okay.
this universal form is very frightening and very
Yeah. It takes, anyway, I don't want to spoil the fun. Let's hear Vignesh.
Like Prabhu, like I would consider this divine vision like an intermediate vision. There is a transcendental vision with which Arjuna is already seeing Krishna, because seeing the 200 form of Krishna itself needs a transcendental vision, which Arjuna is already seeing.
Yeah.
And then on the lowest category, we can call it like a material vision, which we cannot see Krishna. Intermediate is divine vision, what Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Arjuna is basically a Vishnu Parikar, like you mentioned, but they are accustomed to see the form of Krishna, form of sweetness of Krishna, like a Madhurya form, sweet form of Krishna.
Yeah.
Like how Brahma Samhita explained, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena.
Yeah.
So they are accustomed to that form. So now Krishna is showing a form of Aishwarya.
Yeah.
So like I have read in one of the commentary for Acharyas that the sweetness is like compared to a rock candy.
Yeah.
So pure devotees are accustomed to taste that rock candy, but then universal form is like unprocessed sugar.
Yeah.
So they are not accustomed to taste that Aishwarya aspect of the Lord. So that is one explanation which has been given.
Yeah.
Other understanding would be maybe it's like a bewildering the people who don't have enough faith in Krishna, because they may always question people that Krishna's form is not actually transcendental, it's material, because Arjuna was able to see the form of Krishna, but he was not able to see the divine form. So in that sense, people may at times who don't have enough faith in Krishna may tell that Krishna's form is not transcendental, just ordinary human being, because Arjuna was able to see that. So maybe in one way it could be bewilder the faithless people.
Yes, so let's bounce off on this aspect before you proceed, if you have further to say, but then I will forget. So in order to answer to those guys who saying, well, I got your point, which is very very sanguine. Well, Vishvarup is definitely transcendental because Arjuna himself is requiring special eyes. So it means to say, as if to say that the common Krishna that he is hanging out with every day is common because Arjuna can see it every day with no further ado, no further effort. So it entails, well, Vishvarup obviously is higher, it takes special eyes. It's a very important point to tackle. First of all, Prabhupada says, even at the time of Lord Krishna, only 300 persons, approximately 300 persons, knew that Krishna was God. It's one thing to know, to see Krishna. Like yesterday I saw two girls, they came in the temple. They didn't even pay, one couple. They didn't pay obeisance. They're just like a museum, they just come out. It takes, I was chanting Magatri. I was alone in the temple. They took, definitely there's darshan. Definitely they took darshan, there's benefit, no doubt. No obeisances, no tatwa. They just come out, just like a museum. Come out, finish. So obviously they didn't dawn upon them, this is God. So many persons saw Krishna, even when he was done here, but they didn't click, he is God. Very few did. 300 persons, Prabhupada said, 300 or so. So it's not easy to understand with Krishna. So that is, again, Lord Krishna is very expert to put forward lesser forms of himself. So he remains the right, 726, 725, I believe. I remain Naham Prakashasavasya Yogamayam Upavritaha. I reserve myself the right to remain hidden. Krishna will play he will play the game with them. Yes, you're right, actually, they are not transcendental. Even he left a mortal demise. He left a mortal body, Krishna. You know that in the 11th canto? Just to give them more fuel to ascertain their nonsensical talk. Yes, look, he's got a mortal frame. That's his material. Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta explained Saraswati Thakur, for the purpose of further befooling the atheistic, he left a mortal frame. Can you imagine? Krishna wants to remain Guyam. He lacks it. He lacks it. Raja Vijaya, Raja Guyam. Krishna is Guyam. He loves it. He doesn't want to be revealed. I reserve myself the right, the prerogative to remain hidden. So he will go with the flow. Yes, you're right, my dear friend. Virat is higher. You're absolutely right. But it's like that. So, any more to say, Vignesh, on this? Or you running out of steam? Or what? You made a very good point, actually. You quoted the Acharya. So first of all, in 11.8, Srila Prabhupada is using a very proper term, an expression, a godless display of opulences. See, very well put. A god in 11.8, the godless display of opulences. This is what it is. A godless. People ask you, what is Viratu? Godless display of opulences. Well, very well put. So the devotee, in and of itself, is attracted by loving features, not the godless display. You have seen the playmates of Krishna, the gopis. They're not attracted. They don't want even to see the opulences of Lord Krishna. They're not interested. So Krishna is not going to show them. So now let's hear Vishwanath on this one, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's a rhetorical question, because rhetorical means you ask a question and you ask it yourself. So this is how it goes. Why should Arjuna, who directly perceives with his own eyes the sweetness of the Supreme Person, be unable to perceive the partial expansion of the Lord? And he needs to receive divine eyes. That's a very sanguine question. Some explain this by saying that those most excellent eyes which perceive the sweetness of the Supreme Person's human pastimes are exclusive in their scope of perception. This is basically what Vignesh said. They don't perceive the opulence of the Lord's godlike pastimes. After all, a tongue tasting crystal sugar cannot simultaneously experience the taste of unrefined gur or sugar cane. In his purport, Srila Prabhupada shows that Arjuna's attainment of divine vision, non-human eyes to behold his Devalila, was not a sign of Arjuna's advancing. So this divine vision, actually, Buddhism used to tell us, is a celestial vision. See, you have to remember the demigods don't have our human visions. They see much more than we do. In terms of prisms of colors, you have seen sometimes in the rainbow, you see the rainbow.
Yeah.
And did you notice those colors? Are they humans? No, they are celestial. These are celestial colors. They go much further. The prisms of colors is much further, much further. Humans, even the sound, what can we hear? Below a certain range, we cannot hear. And beyond a certain range of sound, you cannot hear. Same with colors. Very limited spectrum accessible to humans. So basically, to put it in simple terms, it's a celestial vision. It's a non-human eyes, basically, meant to behold is Devalila. So, in other words, Krishna is speaking that verse here, 8. He wants to ascertain that, be careful, this Virat is Sachitananda Vigraha. It cannot be material. Sometimes devotees jump to hasty conclusions. Divyam dadami te shakshu. It says, I think it in 8, is it? Yes. Divyam dadami te shakshu. I'm going to give you divine eyes. Pashyame yogameshvaram. basically celestial visions. Because Arjun is not so keen, but he's doing it. It's just like if you have to behold something which is, not from this world, you need a particular technical types of eyes. Otherwise, you won't be able to see. You may not be interested in it, but since you are here, might as well see it. So you're being given a particular type of technical eyes. Same story with Majoda Shoda. I always come back to this Lila. She saw the Lord. She saw the Lord in his mouth. Is it a dream? Is it an illusory creation by the external energy? Has it been manifested by my own intelligence? She was asking. Is it some mystic power of my child? So there was some tinge of Aishvarya creeping in Yashoda. Immediately, a Vatsalya Prem took over. And then, so, yes, go ahead, Goloka.
When Yashoda was seeing the universal form, so Krishna just gave him different vision again, where Yogamaya become a child.
Yeah, because Krishna didn't want his own mother to be covered over by this Aishvarya Gyan. And he wants to show the world that the love of Yashoda stands supreme. Way beyond Lakshmi, way beyond anyone else, except the gopis, of course. But except the gopis, she's the highest. No one can come close to Yashoda. Even Kunti could not fathom. She could not fathom Mother Yashoda. It's way beyond. So Krishna wants to show. I'm showing her some heavy stuff of Aishvarya Gyan. If you see in the mouth of your child, the whole universe, you're going to faint. Basically, she fainted. But next minute, the Vatsalya Prem is so powerful. It supersedes. You follow? So let's hear Mother Yashoda. See, don't think Mother Yashoda is bereft of philosophy. I looked up the verse, 10:840, 10:841. Listen to what she says. Just imagine a Tadva, a Siddhant. Therefore, she has seen the Lord, she has seen the form of the universe in his mouth. She cannot pinpoint what it is. Is it some mystic power of my child? Then she comes to 41, she comes to the conclusion herself. Therefore, let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances unto him, who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words, arguments, who is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for he is beyond my contemplation, speculation, meditation. He is beyond all of my material activities. Therefore, out of material affection, she simply offered obeisances unto the Supreme Lord to protect her child. You understand the subtlety, Goloka?
Yeah. Now he's coming back. He doesn't. He just seeing Krishna as his child, her child.
Yes, but
even he acknowledged that Krishna is beyond, like you said, everyone contemplation or comprehension.
Yeah, but even more so, she's not equating the two. This is so transcendental. Can you imagine? She's saying, yes, definitely what I have seen, what I've beheld is a display of Lord Narayan. And I cannot reconcile what I'm saying. It's Lord Narayan. So I simply offer my obeisances unto the Supreme. But please, Lord Narayan, protect my child. This is her Yogamaya. You understand? she's still thinking Lord Narayan is the supreme. I cannot fathom what I saw in the Lord in my mouth, in my child's mouth. So please, Lord Narayan, I cannot understand. Please protect my child. You know, Vatsalya Prem is so powerful. Even Lord Narayan himself cannot budge her from pure love. Let's put it this way.
So Krishna is Lord Narayan, but at the same time he's praying to Lord Narayan.
No,
Like he doesn't-
Mother Yashoda is praying to Lord Narayan here.
Yeah, but he's having like two personality. Even Krishna, he himself, like a baby, is Lord Narayan, but he doesn't want to see the
No.
baby Krishna as Lord Narayan.
Yes, because Krishna relishes love, not Aishvarya Gyan, just like we sing during the Damodar Ashtak. Remember?
Yeah.
Lord Damodar is saying, as long as you guys have some tinge of Aishvarya and awe, I'm afraid that you cannot enter back to Golok. You may go to Vaikunt, Ayodhya, and no, but not Vaikunt, not Golok, not Vrindavan, not Navadvip. So this is the final Siddhant. Even Lord Narayan cannot budge her. Can you imagine? He cannot. She's so in love, Vatsalya Prem, you know. This is amazing. So, I'm a little lost here. 8, huh? Okay. So even it reminds me at the end of the Gita, you will notice Sanjay's. Remember, Sanjay is a disciple of Vyas. And what is his Ishtadev, by the way? What is the Ishtadev of Sanjay? Whom does he worship on a daily basis, Sanjay? Do you know? The Virat. Sanjay is a follower, is a worshipper of the Virat troop. 1877. Prabhupada explains Sanjay, he enjoyed remembering that wonderful universal form of Krishna exhibited to Arjuna. And that is his Ishtadev. And he's saying there, 1877, he's remembering again and again. And he enjoy, his heirs stood on end. Can you imagine, Goloka? Just by remembering the Virat. He has Asta Sadvikabha. You know? So we cannot say, well, it's material, it's divine. But you have to be tuned up to that Ishtadev. If it is not your Ishtadev, like Arjuna, it is not his Ishtadev, he's not so much enamored. But Sanjay was enamored. It's all about consciousness. What is your mood? What is your Ishtadev? Sanjay was totally enamored. So for some people, it's extremely attractive. Okay, let's move on. 9.
Sanjay said, O king, speaking thus, the Supreme, the Lord of all mystic powers, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna.
Yeah. So we have to understand here that now it's happening. That's it. It's happening. From 10 onwards, it's happening. So, and again, not only Arjuna, but Sanjay sees also. It's mentioned here in 9, Hari. He calls the Lord Hari. Okay. 11.
Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding.
Yes. So let's see if you have a good memory. A couple of chapters ago, Krishna gave a clue to the Virat. I don't know if you remember which verse. It's some kind of a summary verse in the middle of the 9th chapter. Remember, he has explained about different types of. First of all, he goes Mahatma Astu Mamparatam. You find the Mahatma who are taking shelter of Devi Prakriti Ashitaha, of divine energy. Then he goes 14, which is one of the highest verses of the Gita. Satatam kirtayantu mam yatantasya devrataha. They always perpetually worship me. And then 9:15, he goes much below now. He defines three types of fellows. Remember? And one of them is worshippers of the Virat. He goes, Gyan yagena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate ekadvena. That's it. First one, this is the lowest one. Ekadvena, the Mayavadis. Pritagvena, number two, they are middle. Pritagvena means the worshippers of demigods. And then Bahuda Vishvato Mukam. See? The Vishvato Mukam, they are those we are talking about now. The Vishvato Mukam, 9:15. Those who worship the Virat. So you can see, even Krishna acknowledged their position. They are part of we cannot just brush them under the carpet. To hell with them. No. Even Krishna acknowledged their category, 9:15. So in one sense, we're saying, well, it's an imaginary form, it's lowly. No. Prabhupada explained, there's personality. Even in the universal form, is saying in Mumbai in class 74, Divya Malayam, Divya Ganda, Kiritina, it's got helmets, it's got Ganda, so many saints, so many arms. So is a person. How can you have arms and not be a person? How can you have helmets and not be a person? He's well dressed, So basically, this is the vision of a pure devotee. He must be a person. For us, okay, it's a godless display of opulences, but we never are we going to separate the Virat from the original Krishna to form Krishna. See, we're not that full. That is why it's transcendental. We may not be enamored, we may not be attracted, granted, but some others are. So give them some space to rejoice, You understand? This is the point of Prabhupada. 12.
Yeah. One thing I'm thinking, you said, whatever form of the Lord you remember at the time of death, you go to that destination. What about those who remember the Virat form of Krishna? Do they still go to Goloka?
They're going, basically, they're going, just like Sanjay, they will go to that particular section. Basically, the Virat is, it's like the demigods are positioned respectively in all the different, in this gigantic form. The demigods are positioned respectively here and there. So it's explained nicely in the second canto. If you want to go much further than Gita, you go look into the second canto. So yes, they will join that form. They will join that particular aspect of the Lord. But in terms of hierarchy, we should not be sentimental. It's it's still within the material creation. We have to. By the way, I will ask you a question, not now, but at the end of the chapter. And you can start making research on this one. When we say Virat, is there one Virat per universe? Or is there a Virat for the whole material energy? Don't answer now, because we haven't covered that point. But that's a very important question. Devotees oftentimes get bewildered. Is there one Virat per universe? Or is there a Virat for the whole material energy? Ponder on this one. So to answer your question, Goloka, yes, they will end up being with the Virat, but is it attractive? Because we should be moving towards outside the Devidam. We should be going back to the spiritual world.
So the Virat Roop, you said it is not exist in Goloka Vrindavan. So that means you still stay in this material universe?
Of course, of course.
It is temporary, right?
It's
It
temporary.
is transcendental but temporary. So
Yeah.
we cannot go to some place where Virat Roop exists
Yeah, exactly.
to render service.
It is like Goloka, this binary function of the Devidam, Vyakta, Avyakta, either manifest or unmanifest. It's a binary eternal cycle. The divine energy, Devi Yesha Gunamayi, this material energy is divine. Just like the Virat is divine, 1147. Yes. But it's binary. It has to do with the creation of the Lord. When the Lord lenses on Pradhan, it expands. Then at one point the Virat will come about. And remember, in the second canto, it's very well described. Even though all the 33 million demigods will position themselves, they know where they work, they know their place of work, they know they're going to position themselves, but still the Virat cannot be stirred to action. What's missing? What's missing? All the demigods are there, respectively. The Virat cannot be stirred to action. What's missing? Vasudev consciousness. Sadvam Vishudam Vasudev Shabditam Yadiyate Tatrapamana Parvitaha. Lord Shiva is telling his wife, Parvati, Vasudev is, is imbuing consciousness within the Virat. So unless and until Vasudev, when it was an expansion of Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, unless he's putting his own consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Virat, Virat cannot be put into action. So it's very clearly mentioned in the second canto. All this to say that the Virat is motionless. Even the demigods, they need the consciousness of Vasudev to get on, to start moving, to start cracking. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we don't, just like 326, we're never going to find fault with any worshipper, even a Muslim, even, but we know better. As Gaudiya Vaishnava, we know better. And there was one guy I remember in Mumbai long back, perhaps 25 years ago or something. Adipurush Prabhu, I don't know if you know him. He's from Ukraine. He used to go to Mumbai, I remember, and he told me there's a great guy there. He's a worshipper of the Virat, and he had cities even. And he would help devotees with his cities, especially curing them of ailments. But his Ishtadev was the Virat. And never the devotees, he was kind of close to ISKCON, but never did we dare to find fault with his worship. That is his own volition, his own. We should never poke our nose into this. If they ask question, okay, you can give it some clue. We should never. Of course, for us, it's not at all laudable. For us, it's a display, a godless display of opulence. 11:8. Okay, let's move on. 5 minutes left. 12.
Okay, 12. Sorry. 11, 12.
Yeah, go ahead.
If hundreds of thousands of suns rose up at once into the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form.
Yeah. So By the way, who's speaking here? Let's see. It must be Sanjay. See, Sanjay is speaking from 9, since 9. So definitely Sanjay is extremely rejoicing here. Hey, remember, he has left. Actually, what happened is, remember the story, huh? He was part of the battle. He went to fight. Then something happened, terrible happened on the battlefield. Then he figured to himself, oh, I should go back. You remember what happened? He was fighting like anyone else on the side of Dhritarashtra, of course. So Vignesh, what happened to Sanjay at one point? Remember? Sorry?
I don't recollect.
I cannot hear.
It is not from the very beginning. He was with Dhritarashtra and trying to explain.
No. It's very tricky. He was fighting. Remember, Vignesh, the subtlety there? He was fighting. Then Bhishma fell. That's happened on the perhaps 10 days, 10th day, 12 days, I forgot. Then it was a heavy stuff. So heavy that the whole battle shifted from that time onwards. So then Sanjay figured, I should go back and tell the king. So he went back to Hastinapur. He recounted the whole thing. Then through his vision, he picked up from wherever he left off. You know.
I never heard of that. Is that in the Mahabharata?
Yeah, Mahabharata. So then he's talking here. He's talking and he's using lots of adjectives, you know, he's rejoicing here. It's wondrous, it's brilliant, it's unlimited, it's all expanding. So he's using a metaphor because that is his forte. He loves that aspect. He compares the effulgence of the Supreme to something imaginable. Thousands of suns rising in one go. And everything is in one place, Goloka. This is amazing. Ekastam Jagat Krishnam 7. Everything is in one place, past, present, future. You see everything in one place. You cannot even relate. 13.
At that time, Arjuna.
Go ahead.
At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands.
See, same line, Tatrikastam Jagat Krishnam, same line as 7. Exactly same line. Tatrikastam Jagat Krishnam, everything in one place. You are sitting on your chariot. How can you see everything in one place? It's impossible. Just imagine you lose your momentum, you lose your brain, you lose your mind. That's why it takes a special pairs of divine eyes, of celestial eyes. How can you see everything in one place? Just like you are in Philadelphia, he's in Bangalore, I'm in France. Just imagine we see everything in one place. Even that itself is wondrous. How can you see Bangalore, Philadelphia, and New Mayapur at the same time? This is 3 places only. He's seeing everything in the Brahman in one place. You follow? So no wonder he's going to faint. No wonder he's going to cry. No wonder he's going to be on his knees. Please stop it. I cannot relate. But be careful. On the battlefield, do you think others could see?
No.
No way. The
Yeah,
demigods could
Krishna
see.
given him the eyes to see.
Exactly. Sanjay could see, and the demigods could see because they are demigods in the upper planets. We have to understand there's some planets, Prabhupada explained, they're made of gold. Some planets are made of jewels. Can you imagine? Some planets are made of emeralds. You understand? It's mind. People will say it's mythology. We know a planet made of earth, okay? Made of gold, made of rubies, made of emerald. People will go nuts. You know, we don't learn anything at school. They're totally out of it, you know. Now there's a
Fifth
shift.
canto, there are a lot of things, no?
Yeah.
In fifth canto, there are a lot of different types of lakes are mentioned. Lakes
Yeah.
of various things.
This is
Honey
it's
and all those things.
Or
it's
liquor. Yeah.
it beats it beats
beyond our
it beats by far even the greatest Star War and stuff. You know, they are way behind. We remember Avatar a few years back. It was half a billion dollars budget, $500 million budget. Avatar, $500 million. So and they made lots of profit, but still it's a far cry, very far cry. When you read the fifth canto, you say, I mean, you know, can you imagine there's Jambudvip? We know the salt water ocean. Yes, we know. Then another dweep further out, concentric dweep. Then ocean of liquor, further out, ocean of Daihi, ocean of Dut, ocean of ghee. People, no wonder people say it's mythology. They cannot relate, you know.
with tiny Prabhupada always say with tiny brain. How can you understand it?
You know, and that is why, you know, the brain has to the brain and the mind, sorry, has to accommodate in order to apprehend something or comprehend something. You have to accommodate it in your mind. Otherwise, you go nuts. Otherwise, like, you know, when there's another overpower in electricity, it overpowers the whole house. There's no the mind goes blank. The mind goes blank. So that in order to accommodate that, they just put it in a drawer called mythology. Oh, it's mythology. Then I can relate to that. Yes. It's half legend, it's very hazy, but it's wonderful. I mean, we love it. It's great to tell the children. My father told me, I told my children also. You know, in this way they can kind of accommodate it and even enjoy it. But intellectually speaking, they have put it in the drawer called mythology because it's too far out.
Because they cannot see it, you know, like some people you said that like
Symptoms.
yeah, like this saint, unless he sees something he doesn't believe it.
And then, you
So
know, the problem is we are being led by the nose. All the medias on earth are acting scrupulously under the government. And people are glued to the TV worldwide, glued to the newspaper. Do you see in the newspaper, the journalists, they are extremely screened on what they advertise, what they write in. You cannot do whatever they want. It has to be to follow within the paradigm of the government. You know, they have many years ago. I remember Sarkozy. He was president here in Afghanistan or Pakistan somewhere. They found some Viman. Can you imagine, in some deep cavern? A Viman. You know what is a Viman? It's a spaceship. You know, from Vedic times. So they went there in secrecy. Obama was in charge in those days. Sarkozy was in charge of France. You know, and they were puzzled. What the hell is this? And then some military guys got close. He killed on he died on the spot. Was it in the newspaper? No, no way. No way they're going to reveal these things. It's too mind-boggling. They want to keep people, you know, in deeper abject ignorance. You know, don't make any waves. Something they cannot hide because it's too big to conceal. But as much as they can conceal, they won't tell you. Even themselves, they cannot fully relate to it. So anyway, we'll stop here. It's been it's 6:06 here. So you guys start from some 14, I believe. Yeah. 14, 11, 14. Is it correct? 13 or 14?
Yes, 14.
Yeah, 14. Any questions? Because there's a shift in 14, you know, it's very interesting. Vishmayo Vishto, there's a shift here. So it's a good break. It's a good break. It's called Rasa Sunday. There's a Rasa Sunday here. Okay, so we'll stop here. Is it clear? So don't forget, and we're getting close to the end of the second module. 2 essays, same old story, your shloks, and 1 close book at the end.
Yes.
I like them. I just
Yeah,
like the class.
just 2-3 pages, you know, it's not a big stuff, you know.
I like the classes only.
Yeah, well, you know, there's always been like this.
Everyone likes the classes only.
You know, one thing is, Buddhajan, I remember we used to call them tourists. That came from that time, you know. Tourists. They come, they're most welcome. In and out, freely. But they won't take the exam. They won't, you know, oh, Prabhu, leave me alone, you know, I'm okay. I like to hear. And actually, Krishna says, what is the verse in the Gita? 13:26. Mritu shruti prayanaha. 13:26, Krishna says, very interesting verse, huh? He says, even though, listen to that verse. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, they begin to worship the Supreme upon hearing about him from others. See? This is for us. Because of the tendency to hear from authorities, Mritu Shruti Parayana, they also transcend samsara. So this is exactly what's happening in ISKCON. People have no taste. Even devotees don't have much taste, let's be honest. But it doesn't matter. As long as you have a good sense of hearing, 13:26, you're okay.
Yeah.
But since
still on the right path. We still on the right path.
Kirtanam, and then Smaranam.
Well, you already, you know, if you had started from day one Goloka as a tourist, I would understand. But already you are midway through. We covered Sri Show, you know, we are way more than half of the Gita, and then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then Upadeshamrita, and that's it. Then getting geared up for Bhagavatam after that.
Yeah, it's good to have people like you and Vignesh work me up.
Yeah, it rubs off, you know.
You work me up.
We
to sing.
understand. We understand.
Bhagavatam, you are expecting like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bhagavatam, you are expecting like people from France or from all over the world.
I'm going to, as soon as I've got a green light from boards of examination, I will send a letter to all that I'm thinking of. Those who graduated, like Tamoha Prabhu is a guy from Guadeloupe. Old friends that I know, they've been asking me for years, Prabhu, when are you going to start the BV? Chandrasekhar even, I will contact. He wanted to do the BV from me, but I told him, Prabhu, one person, you know, it's not worth it. So I will put him in the list. I will contact him also. It's going to be twice a week. It's not going to be 2 hours. It's going to be twice 2 hours. Because I reckon that it's 6 cantos, can you imagine? So if we do it twice 2 hours a week, it's going to take 3 years and 1 quarter. Can you imagine?
Oh.
What to speak if we do 2 hours a week like now? It's going to be 6 years and a half. It's huge.
No.
Bhagavad Gita is a little baby. Have you seen?
And Parikshit heard in 7 days.
Sorry?
And Parikshit heard in 7 days. All 12 cantos.
Yeah, but
just 7 days.
there was no purport. I mean, you know, you just went down, and of course, it's a different adhika altogether. Also, in terms of speaker, in terms of hearers, you know. Anyway, first get your Bhakti tree, and then you guys please join. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.